Hey everyone, Deefou here. Do you enjoy old co-op games like Left 4 Dead and Payday? Did you ever wanted to commit several war crimes while looking like an absolute vegetable?
Need some potassium.
Have you ever considered living a life as a midget that will be molested and traumatized by the arthropods every time you go to work? That's right, Deep Galactic. Developed by Ghost Ship Games and published by Coffee Stain, a game where you shoot absolutely anything with more or less legs than two. Get rich and go bankrupt immediately afterwards. Because we live in a dystopian future where middle classes are pressed to shit and are worth less than dirt. It's a pretty accurate depiction of our modern society. The story is very simple. You're broke, your wife left you, took the ugly kids, and you became very depressed. So you decided to join Deefou Galactic, a mining company where its of-age miners infiltrate a planet called Hoxie's 4. A relatively safe planet with only minor safety hazards, which are included but not limited to erupting volcanoes, gravitational anomalies, a minor case of spider infestation, earthquakes, freezing temperature, toxic atmosphere, supernaturally molded sentient beings made out of ectoplasm, mutated plant life, and Redditors. And this planet is also booming with extraordinarily rich materials, so it'll be your and your fellow dwarves' job to collect all the goodies. Good luck.
My name is Eminem and I like to...
Welcome to your new life, of-age miner. Upon starting up the game, you'll be sent into the tutorial biome called Shallow Grotto. It's puke green, not much of a threat, and not much of a value to anyone really. The main objective here is to mine some Morkite. Along the way, you might also find some gold, which is converted into credits, which is your main currency. And nitro, which is used to call in supply pod when AD is collected and deposited into Molly over here. This mule will store all the materials that you've collected on the mission. Fortunately, this unfeeling golem will accompany you on most of your adventures, and is not needed to be looked after as it does not know the concept of emotion or pain. And unfortunately, this hunk of junk moves at the speed of Mukbanger's natural walk cycle, constantly gets in the way, and is generally not bothered by the established laws of physics. Another thing you'll notice is a small bot that hovers near you. This is Bosco, a multi-purpose drone which will assist you on any solo missions you're doing.
Unless you don't want to.
Passively, it'll just hover around and attack whatever's nearby. By holding control, you'll bring up a pointer, which is basically a pinging system. It'll tell Bosco to mine, attack, or light place up. Additionally, a pointer is also very good at locating maggots and real mushrooms, so you should probably mark everything to flex your dwarven mushroom lore.
Cool, bro, what an epic mushroom lore, but who asked?
But I digress.
It's a fake mushroom if he doesn't say the line. Get it in your head.
Overall, Bosco is not good at anything in particular, but can be useful in gathering stuff or maybe killing some swarmers. And speaking of killing, you'll find some grunts here, which will go X3 and then proceed to rush you down. Shooting in response to such traumatic experience is generally a good idea, preferably while using your stubby feet to move away from that ugly bugger. Failing to do so will damage your protective shield, which will regenerate eventually, and when the shield is broken, you'll start losing your life expectancy. If it reaches 0, you'll die. Other dwarves can get you up by spraying some mushroom juice on you, or if you're alone, Bosco will infuse you with some faulty nanomachines which will cease to exist as soon as you start walking again, leaving you with few brittle bones in your body. But how do we heal our bones there? By either getting some natural dwarven remedies, squeezing blood from the stone, which can be found literally anywhere and is apparently highly addictive. You should probably just ignore that. And you can also grind your enemies into thin paste and consume their very life essence. Provided you're built different from the others. And being built different won't save you from not having your trusty pick, which is used to mine almost anything, given that you have enough determination and time, because depending on the time of mineral or biome's terrain you're whacking at, like for example sand, Morkite and nitro will require 1 hit, most minerals will require 2, and in places like magma core, destroying terrain will require 3 hits. Pickaxe can also be used as a weapon. Attacking with it will slow down you and your attack, and it doesn't do that much damage, but it will one-shot few things like swarmers. Reaching 4 will allow you to perform Power Attack, which will destroy terrain in one hit and deal increased damage. Pick can also be used in a less conventional way. It's possible to completely ignore a slow pickaxe attack by just using pickaxe again, right after the hit connects. Quickly tapping on your pick can also be used to reload cancel, because bullets get added to the weapon as soon as mag is inserted. Each cave is separated by dirt, so whip out your map and check on where to dig. Map is also used to show where your teammates and some of the objectives are. You can also vault over terrain with approximately 89% success rate. Pretty good odds, until there is a crater right below you. Anyway, get Morkite and get out of this cabbage land, or you can simply skip it by aborting said mission.
Oh guys, I was the traitor, I was sus!
Regardless of what you did back on Shadow Grotto, welcome to the Space Rig, an interactive hub for selecting your assignments and missions, chilling with your fellow miners, of-age miners, and gearing up for your next expedition. And gearing up is quite an understatement, so let's talk about it. There are 4 classes: Gunner, Engineer, Scout, and Driller. Each class has a primary, secondary, 2 tools, and grenades. 2 more primaries and 1 secondary, or 2 if you're living in a different timeline, can be earned for assignments. Everything can be purchased and upgraded with credits and minerals, provided that you have a naturally high stature within the company. New weapons can be unlocked by doing assignments when appropriate level is met, and since DRG department is pretty much a corporate utopia, doing said assignment will give you a privilege to buy said license. There are also perks that can be simply unlocked by earning stars for playing specific missions or with certain modifiers. Perks can be classified as genetic mutations for your tiny alcoholic, which is used to enhance a specific playstyle, or that theory-crafted bullshit build of yours, which can range from large pockets, hypnotic arm, or an outright vampirism, or even all 3 of those at once. Additional form of progression also includes the Battle Pass, which thankfully is completely free, and if you didn't manage to get all the rewards, the rest will be distributed to the existing loot pools. Once one of your dwarves reaches level 25, they'll be eligible for a promotion assignment, which in turn will allow you to participate in endgame activity and start collecting blank matrix cores. Bring those to randomly found machinery events, which can appear on any mission, and get yourself some weapon overclocks. Those upgrades can either improve your gun a bit in general way, or completely change the way you play, and each gun has at least 6 of them. We'll talk about earning those matrix cores at the deep dive section. And if that's not enough for you, just trip out your short king in the most fashionable and ridiculous way possible.
You're fucking disgusting, Scout.
But let's get back to reality for a second. Because, realistically, you can't afford shit since you're a broke-ass bitch. And you're not qualified to get most of the stuff anyway. You need to get some of that money and XP, which, well, you do missions. And there's quite a bit of that. Let's start with hazard levels, which go from 1 to 5, which basically classifies as No, Easy, Easy Part 2, Normal, and Hard. Last one must be unlocked. Each difficulty gives you a specific amount of percentage multiplier to the end reward. But there's also mission length, complexity, anomalies, and warnings, which give you even higher multiplier at the end. And difficulty scales up enemy damage, attack speed, projectile speed, movement speed, friendly fire damage, environmental damage, and revived health. Enemy count, damage, and their resistances also scale with the amount of players present in the map. Now that you're done picking the right amount of pain for yourself, let's talk about the missions. There's Mining Expedition, which you are already familiar with. Egg Hunt, which is about locating giant disgusting nests and carefully extracting eggs from them by making a huge hole. When the nest is disturbed, you'll have a 1 in 4, 2 in 6, and 3 in 8 chance respectively to the mission length to be swarmed by the Genshin community. Upon collecting everything, call the pod and enjoy your warm, nutritious egg!
Yeah.
What the hell is this?
This is horrible. Hate this already.
Salvage operation is about locating lost mules, finding their legs, and repairing them. After that, you'll head to the abandoned drop pod and repair some crappy fuel cells and hold out a few times. Second half is usually kinda boring. Point extraction is about locating blueness. Dig it out and deposit it into the rocket, and then hold out again. It's not very exciting to just survive for a minute or so on this mission either. Oh, and Molly is not present here. Elimination is about boss destruction. Locate the Dreadnought Cocoon and prepare for a fight with one of 3 bosses. Dreadnought, which you shoot in the ass, Hiveguard, which is invincible, so you gotta kill its minions, then destroy small clusters of meat on it, and then shoot it in the ass. And Twins can be shot anywhere, but maybe you should shoot them in the ass too. On-site refinery is about locating wells filled with Morkite, calling the pipe jack to them, then connect the pipes from the refinery to the pipe jack in the most inconvenient and longest way possible. After that, you turn on the machine, which in turn will piss off about the entire population of Madagascar, which will magically make all pipes leak from time to time, fix it a few times, and launch the rocket. Oh, and Molly is not present on this mission as well. Escort duty is about, well, escorting the drill dozer to the Omoran shell. Just like Molly, Dottie is also mentally challenged and will take the most illogical and retarded path possible. Eventually, Dozer will run out of gamer juice, so you better fill up those fuel canisters as soon as possible before the local wildlife swarms Dottie.
Don't forget to repair the dozer.
And Industrial Sabotage, which is a Season 1 thing, which may or may not stay and be replaced with something else for the next season. Locate the power stations for the data vault, call in the hacking pods, link them together, and hold out for 10 years. After that, return to the vault, remove shield batteries, and prepare to face the
Obanium.
All missions will also have secondary objective, which include collecting mushrooms, nuts, fossils, and ball sacks, or kill some fleas and whatever. If you're very lucky, you might collect some blue garbage on a few specific mission types. Pretty simple missions overall, but they can also have different modifiers which spice up your gameplay or make you cool. Some of them are quite beneficial, like Mineral Mania, Double XP and Golden Bugs, while others will turn you into geriatric patient, like Mectera Plague, Shield Disruption,
Nanomachines!
Haunted Cave, and Low Oxygen. Mercy on your soul if you see this fuckness. Added to the randomness is random and pseudo-random cave-generating bullshit, which comes along with its distinct biomes, of which there are 10 at the time of writing this. There is Azure Weld, Crystalline Caverns, Dense Biozone, Fungus Bogs, Glacier Strata, Hollow Bow, Magma Core, Radioactive Exclusion Zone, Salt Pits, and Sandblasted Corridors. Every biome brings different structures, cave layouts, which can be either man-made or molded by some eldritch algorithm, environmental hazards, unique fauna like young boy lobsters and sand shark, and for your progression, unique minerals that you can find in each biome, and some that can be found anywhere like compressed gold or bitter gem, given that you're lucky enough to stumble onto one. There are also nuts and flowers that spawn quite often and are only used to make beers at the Abyss Bar. Inside the caves will be lots of bugs ranging from your average Glyphigrunts, Praetorians which are slow tanks, or Oppressors which are slower tanks but are impervious to damage unless you shoot it in the ass, and they can also dig through terrain. Wardens which give shield buff to other Glyphids, Exploders which explode, and their bigger cousin Detonators which explode but harder. Snipers that either shoot acid or whip at you, and the Menace that stands still and acts as a machine gun ass shooting shit at you non-stop. Along Glyphids there are also flying pieces of shits called Mecteras, which come in shooting, bombing and grabbing varieties. There is more of them, but you have to find them out for yourself. Along with said randomness are also random events, which include Lost Packs, which involve scanning a helmet, opening your map and realize that treasure is all the way at the beginning of the map, on a fucking ceiling. After locating said treasure, you'll get a decent amount of minerals and either a pickaxe part or armor camo. Similar to Lost Pack is also Cargo Crate, which requires finding a couple of branded Duracell batteries and jamming them right onto the crate and repair it. It'll spew minerals and give either a weapon framework or a victory move. Not all events are stationary loot dispensers, because next up is a sentient weed, which is quite an unfortunate sight for unprepared. Betsy, which will team kill you more often than it helps you, given that you won't get gunned down while it's aggressive towards you. And machine events, which is a perfect timing to talk about.
My pussy!
Deep dives are an endgame activity which is unlocked once any of your dwarves is promoted at least once. That will allow you to participate in weekly seeded runs which span across 3 missions in a row. With normal and elite variants, latter being very schizophrenic in its difficulty, so approach it with caution, otherwise there'll be a lot of skill issues. Each dive will earn you blank matrix score, weapon overclock and cosmetic matrix score, on missions from 1st to 3rd respectively. Only gold and nitro spawn naturally on deep dives with no unique minerals or random events. Experience is also not influenced by anything but completion, so it's best to just speedrun the thing. Other ways to earn matrix scores is a weekly core hunt assignment, whatever event assignment that appears once in a blue moon, and whenever you craft 5 things at the forge. So what the heck do you do with those blank cores? On every mission there will be a chance for 1 out of 4 machine events to spawn. These can range from collecting McNuggets, throwing explosive at a rock, stoned bug extermination, or stacked bullshit. After your obvious success, you'll be given a choice to pick 1 out of 3 things. Priority is given to overclocks first. After that, bring them to Forge and pay up for every single thing you craft. And with that out of the way, let's get on with... Gunner is generally great at deleting enemies from existence swiftly or slowly, packing big guns like minigun, cannon and mini rocket launcher as his primary and trusty pistols as his secondary. Grenades are also very complementary to his character, as they all bring death in all 3 forms, regardless at who it's being thrown at. While Gunner is great at dishing out pain, he is as slow as an average mobility scooter enjoyer, because DRG department chipped out on him and gave him some shitty zipline gun. It's functional at transporting your team down and up the terrain, and not much else. Knowing that you won't be able to move too much, or in case of an emergency, he also gets a protective bubble shield thing which will repel bugs and give you some room to breathe. Or it could be cut short by a shitty lobster that pushes you out of the bubble. Engine gaming is all about playing Fortress Craft II and to spread misinformation that the game is actively being worked on. Engineer's playstyle revolves around defending an open area with 1 or 2 sentries, which act like all of the AI in the game, which means they are very A and not so much I. Provide pancakes to your team to either traverse the terrain or help your fellow kings to get minerals that are out of reach. Equipped with shotgun, SMG and smart rifle as primaries, grenade launcher and pre-nerfed Thompson as secondaries, his grenades can either act as defensive measure, a distraction, or zero to death your fellow friends. Like Gunner, he is also generally good in most situations, since his primaries are good at depleting single target health bars, unless as SMG, which can be used as a practical torture device, and secondaries are good at wiping out hordes of bugs. Scout is all about the mobility, being generally weaker at dealing with hordes, but excel at single target elimination and be the speed itself. With your trusty grappling hook you can go practically anywhere, provided that you can negate all of the fall damage, otherwise you'll be dead for most of your playtime. Also equipped with a flare gun, which lights up a sizable amount of terrain. Additionally, if you're desperate enough, it can be used as a weapon. As for real weapons, equipped with AS rifle, M1 Garand, and plasma rifle for primaries, sawed-off shotgun and dualies Zhukovs as secondaries. His grenades are based around support, like cryo grenades which freeze, pheromone canisters which sex, most of the time at least, and inhibitor field generator which slows shit down. Driller. He likes drills. Yeah, a CQC specialist carrying big drills that can easily break terrain instead of using your pickaxe to mine stone for several years. But unlike pickaxe, drills cannot get minerals of any kind. The only exception would be if there is no ground around the minerals, in which case you'll just shatter all at once. Those bad boys can also be used as a weapon to scare off enemies, make quick tunnels through terrain, or quickly shatter frozen enemies. Equipped with flamethrower, cryothrower and sludge pump as primaries to deal elemental damage up close, Subata pistol and EPC plasma pistol as secondary. His grenades are flammable toxins, a normal shitty grenade, or an axe that does pretty good melee damage. And Driller is also granted with the best tool in the entire game. C4 can easily deal with any breathing and unbreathing lifeforms. All classes, of course, can be modified to suit specific needs. For example, a flamethrower can be a long-range beam, a sticky flame wall, or just do short-range big damage. Let's take Engine over here. Let's jump on overclock to his grenade launcher and hover boots perk right in. Now this engineer will be able to do Scout's work all on his own, with Hover Boots perk, which will save him from fall damage, Grenade Launcher that will be used to grenade jump, and use Pancakes as wall platforms or soften the fall. It won't be possible to reach every single spot like in Sandblasted Corridors for example, since areas there are way too spacious. And of course, with this kind of build you won't be as effective at killing, but hey, you got teammates for a reason. Or perhaps you think that Scout is not mobile enough. Slap some special powder on the shotgun and just fly away. Or maybe you want your Scout to be a working refrigerator. It's certainly possible with Cryo Grenade and Cryo Mindlets overclock on Jukovs. How about Driller with Cryogun, Vampire perk and damage upgrade on drills to regain your health back? Maybe being a Samsung fridge is not your thing. What about an Oven Gunner with tier 5 upgrade hot bullets and Burning Hell overclock for minigun and volatile bullets for Revolver, which will make everything within 5 meter radius to spontaneously combust. And if that's not enough, well, the Revolver will most likely two-shot the entirety of the game. There's quite a bit of possibilities for building your dwarf to deal with niche situations really well, or be generally good at everything. It's all up to you. And with all that said, with near infinite replayability thanks to the cave generation and sandbox-like gameplay approach, along with very fucking long progression that does not feel unneedlessly drip-feedy, and the game is still being updated, I'll be giving this game an arbitrary perfection out of the amount of times we started killing each other, which in my mind equates to a very high score. Thank you for watching. Same as before, smash like, destroy subscribe, and I want to make this video for quite a long time now. Like, about 2 years ago? Never got through with it though. I probably missed something out, so feel free to let me know how much I fucked up or something. Hope this one's been entertaining enough to sit through though. And until we meet again.
Whoa!